Hi, guys. This is Daniel Alexander Cannon here on The Supernatural Show. And I'm going to give y'all guys a little preview reading of a script that I am putting together in order to bring some knowledge and understanding across to some people who do not understand this knowledge yet. Now, I'm not going to give it away by explaining what the script is going to do, but I'm going to read some of the first part of it, and there may be more than me as voiceovers for this script, but I'm going to just read the first part of it for you, and there may be changes to it. Matter of fact, there likely will be, but this is giving you a little behind the scenes look at something I'm working on, one of several things I'm working on. So with that being said, let's do a little reading. Mr. Mason. Oh, and just so you know, this is adopted and modified and updated from uh, a video that is available on YouTube that's called The Jones Plantation. Okay, I'm sure a few of you have seen it. Well, we're going to we're going to update it. We're going to bring it more modern into just so people can see a bigger, wider scope of what the message is behind it. Okay? So, with that said, let's read. Mr. Mason owned a cotton plantation and owned many slaves. One day he was talking to his cousins, the owners of the other plantations all around him, and Mr. Mason was lamenting the fact that times were tough and he was having to work his slaves harder than ever and was having trouble with some of them being disobedient or trying to run away. One of the other plantation owners said he knew someone that had a master plan that could help day one. 1 week later, Mr. Mason called his slaves together so a man named Mr. Washop could talk to them. Before beginning, Mr. Washop whispered to Mr. Mason, "Whatever I say, do not contradict me or interfere, and I promise your slave troubles will end." "My name is Mr. Washop," he said to the slaves, "and this may be the happiest day of your lives. From today forward, you will no longer be slaves, but free men and women." Mr. Mason was so shocked he started to step forward, but Mr. Washop gestured to him to remain silent. He did only because his respect for his cousin, the other plantation owner, had spoken so highly of Mr. Washop's skills. "You are no longer the property of Mr. Mason," Mr. Washop continued. "You are free. No more will you be forced to labor for the benefit only of Mr. Mason. Now you can work for yourselves." Now the slaves were murmuring and looking at each other. Many were smiling. Many were looking puzzled. "In fact, you are now free to leave the plantation whenever you want," Mr. Washop said. "However, since we are surrounded by other plantations, if you leave, some other plantation owner will likely claim you as his own the moment you set foot on his property. So I urge you not to risk your newfound freedom by doing something so foolish. Instead, I suggest that you stay here, no longer as slaves, but as willing participants and part owners of this plantation. Yes, this is now your plantation." Mr. Mason bit his tongue to keep from objecting for now. "We might as well leave Mr. Mason in charge," said Mr. Washop, "since he's the only one with any experience at running a plantation, which is quite a complicated thing to manage. But he will no longer be your master, but just another worker on the plantation. In fact, he will now be using his organizational skills and management skills to serve you. Whatever problems you may have had with him before, you are now all equals, and you need each other to make this new plantation order work. If we all cooperate and work together, we can all reap the benefits together. In honor of this happy occasion, I present to you this new symbol of togetherness and cooperation. This flag will this flag shall be the emblem of the new Mason plantation. He held up the new flag, but most of those listening were still too amazed to respond. And this shall be our motto, Mr. Washop announced. We will work together as free men for our mutual benefit, pledging our allegiance to the new Freemason plantation, which stands for freedom, prosperity, liberty, safety, and justice for all. To celebrate, everyone has the rest of the day off. Enjoy your freedom. Do as you please, and be back here tomorrow morning bright and early so that we may begin work on this great and noble new plantation order as equal free men. Finally convinced that Mr. Washop was serious, the former slaves applauded and cheered. Day 2. So there's just the very beginning of what the script will be. I'm working on a bunch of additional language and concepts to go into the script. And it's going to be very eye-opening for a lot of people that don't realize where they are or what they are and what the things that they do in their everyday life are. So, with that being said, I love you guys, and Father in heaven loves you, and I will be checking back in with you soon. We'll be having a new supernatural show here very soon. I'm just dealing with a lot of things that are kind of keeping me unable to nail down the schedule and some other things. Just, I'll be back soon. I love you. We'll talk to you again soon. This has been Daniel Alexander Cannon here on the Supernatural Show, and maybe Logic Before Authority if I decide to upload it there.